Hey, Dad. Sorry about that. I logged in with the wrong Google account to begin with.
Oh,
And then finally realized it. So I logged out and logged in with the right Google account, but then I logged into the wrong studio. So sorry to make you wait. I
that's all right.
had to get through
Just
some
enjoying my sourdough toast.
nice. Want to make a fresh loaf this morning?
Oh, it was yesterday, but still,
Yeah.
it's so good. Did
Yeah.
Kristen revitalize that 200-year-old starter that your mom gave her when you guys were
I haven't
or
talked to her
with?
about that yet. I'll have to see. I know that we delivered it to her. So yeah. Um I think she's working on it, but I haven't been paying very close attention.
Apparently, the Los Angeles Times said that's the best sourdough starter in the United States.
Really? Did it? Interesting.
I don't know
They
how
got
many
a
they tried, but
bread column or a food column? I wonder who determines that.
I'm not sure.
Where's it from? Where's the bread starter from?
We buy it at a place. I don't know where it's from originally. I think it was from San Francisco area. I don't know, 200 years ago, maybe
Yeah.
25. Maybe there
Has
was
San
somebody,
Francisco been around that long?
or maybe it
Maybe
was
it has.
Alaska. I don't know, but whatever. We buy it in Costa Mesa. There's a place over there called Fermentation Farms.
Yeah, I've heard of that place.
Yeah. And it's a good starter. Her old starter was kind of worn out. And so she had heard about that and we went over and bought one. And we've been really happy with it. It's
Nice.
really good. And this same starter you can use on wheat bread, white bread, or rye bread, any kind of bread. And this starter works on it.
Nice.
Whereas her old starter was basically only white bread that it
Mm,
worked on. So
very cool.
it's any kind of flour you want to use.
Nice. Have you bought anything else from Fermentation Farms? Like I think they popped up on some food searches of mine.
Yeah.
Don't it sounds like they sell some stuff there too,
They,
like
they
to
got
eat.
little cafe and it's always busy, but it's a lot of, I think they got a lot of vegan stuff and things like that,
Mm.
which I kind of shy away from. Kind of reminds me of Soylent Green, I mean, those vegetable burgers and stuff. I don't know.
Not your thing, huh?
Well, Kaiser sent a letter out to everybody saying, don't eat that
The
official
thing that
meat,
they were using to make impossible burgers and stuff like
right?
that. That's the
Because
Soylent
it's
Green.
got so
Gotcha.
much chemical residues in it from solvents and things like that that they use to extract the protein and break it down that they say it's unhealthy for you. They say
Yeah.
if you want to eat the vegetables or the beans or whatever goes into it, very healthy, but the processing makes it very unhealthy. And so
Yeah.
they recommended against Beyond Burger or whatever, Beyond Meat. I'm not sure what it's called.
Yeah. Beyond and then Impossible was another version of it. I don't know if it's the same
Yeah.
process or whatnot, but
But they
you
thought
know,
it was important enough for Kaiser to send out a letter to all members
wow,
recommending against it.
interesting.
Yeah.
Paul Hafen used to take us to this restaurant, this vegan restaurant, way back in the day. We'd go there every once in a while. And actually their food was delicious. Like
Well,
I
there's
don't know
one
what they
by
did.
us that the food is great. I love it.
Yeah,
But I've been to others where it's horrid.
not so good, huh?
Yeah. And so I'm a little gun shy, but
Yeah.
really there's one up there by that Akubian's Pizza that is just excellent. I mean, their vegan food is,
Is
I
a
don't know.
Kubian's Pizza still in business, or that's
It's just, Fu Wing Lows, I
the
should have
Fu
said.
Wing Low
The
Shopping
only
Center?
thing still
Yeah,
in there. Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, the Kubians has been gone for probably 20 years now,
yeah,
but it used to be like a regular family place and everybody loved the Kubians.
yeah. I remember going there after soccer games and whatnot.
Yeah. And I'm not sure exactly when it went out of business, but once because we went there mainly after soccer because they're right across the street from Miles Square Park.
Yeah,
And it was kind of a central place that even if you weren't playing at Miles Square Park, all of the other schools and places you were playing, that was kind of a central place,
yeah,
for all the different fields. And so,
right
and
in
then
the
we
middle
had
of Region 5.
right. And then we had a referee meeting over there every,
I was just about to say that. I remember going there for referee meetings.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and they had a coaches meeting in the big room, and they had a referees meeting in a big room.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that was the reason I was going there, was either for the coaches meeting or the referees meeting. But then we'd take you guys along and buy a pizza and all that. And their
Yeah.
pizza was so good.
They had good pizza. I remember
They
liking their
did.
pizza. You know what? I remember one of my memories from that place is we went there for a referee meeting back in '86.
Uh-huh.
And I think that was like the first year that I was actually a referee or whatever. It was 13. But that day, it was during the same time when the World Cup was going on in Mexico. And I remember that instead of having the referees meeting, we all ended up just watching the
Watching the
game.
World Cup. Yeah.
Yeah, watching the World Cup game. So, but yeah, that was kind of
The
cool.
biggest bust was the time we went over and spent hours at that pizza parlor over by Winchell's Donuts. I can't think of the name of it now.
Barrows, back when Barrows was there, or a different one?
And I think it was Barrows. We sat there for hours ordering different food, waiting for the Mike Tyson fight to come on.
Yeah.
And it was over in like a minute.
Yeah, I do remember that. He knocked the guy out like,
Yeah.
in about a minute. Like, yeah,
Is that it?
yeah, that was super
All the time
anticlimactic.
that, we spent there waiting.
Yeah,
Bam. He pounded that guy and he was out.
yeah, yeah, that was classic.
Yeah.
He had quite a few early in his career. I remember he had quite a few early knockouts, like
Right.
first round,
Yeah.
minute and a half, like just got in there, just took people down,
Yeah.
dismantled them.
Yeah. He was.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember really loving Barrows too growing up.
There was good
And
pizza
then
there too. Yeah.
and then like my senior year of high school, something happened. They stopped. We'd always go there after football games. Then they didn't sponsor the football team. They didn't put an ad or whatever they usually had done in the program my senior year. And so like the coaches, one of our early season meetings is like, oh, they're like, you are not allowed to go to Barrows anymore. If we catch any of you guys going to Barrows, you're going to be benched. You're going to Lamppost now because they put an ad in. Barrows didn't. Barrows is out. Lamppost is in. And we're like,
Really?
okay,
The best
Lamppost it is.
around is Lampposts, and there's one over on Beach Boulevard called First Class Pizza. They're
Yeah, you
not
like that?
chains. Yeah, neither one of them is chains. It's both just family-owned, one-off pizza parlors, but both of them are so good.
Okay, there's another pizza parlor that I've never tried that I keep meaning to try. It's not right next door, but maybe one door down from Philly's Best over there. And I can't remember what it's called, but they've got a lot of memorabilia and whatnot from different like Edison High School, Fountain Valley High School, Huntington Beach High School. So they're trying to
Okay.
cater to that element, I guess. But I've never been there. And every time I go and get a sandwich from Philly's Best,
Yeah.
every time I go and get a cheesesteak, I'm thinking, we got to go try that place. What if that's a really good pizza place?
Yeah.
So I can't even think of what it's called.
Yeah.
Do you even know what I'm talking about? Have you ever even noticed it there?
I've seen the pizza parlor, but like you said, when I'm going in there, I'm not looking at that Stonefire grill. I'm not looking at anything else. It's Philly's Best, and that's what I'm getting.
Dad, it's First Class Pizza.
Was that one First Class too?
That's First Class Pizza.
Then you would.
Is there another one that you're thinking of?
Beach Boulevard. Yeah. There's another one on Beach Boulevard.
Hilarious. And you guys like First Class Pizza?
First Class Pizza is good. Lamppost
The pictures look good.
Yeah.
You got Angels gear in there. Yeah.
And then everything else. I mean, when you go to Pizza Hut or Domino's or one of those, you're getting the corporate pizza.
Yeah.
They're okay. But there's not much difference between all of those and maybe Little Caesars or something like that. In fact, maybe Little Caesars is a little better than some of those other ones. But when you go in
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, one of those two, Lamppost or First Class. I mean, it really is.
That's your go-to.
Noticeably better pizza.
Yeah. Is the First Class one on Beach Boulevard, is it near Edinger in Beach?
I think it is, yeah.
So there's one there, and then there's another one. I'm assuming, let's see what the logo looks like. There's one in Irvine too, it mentions.
So it is like a chain then?
Well, a very small chain, if anything. Yeah, it looks like it has the same logo. Yeah. Let me look at the Irvine one really quick. Irvine Boulevard. Oh, there's one in Tustin on Jamboree Road too. Yeah, they have the same logo. Huh, interesting. Well, I still want to try it. I've seen it. I've seen people eating it. It looks good.
Yeah.
So next
And
time I'm
there's a
down there,
new
maybe
one
we
by us I wanted to try, but I've never done yet. I think it's called New York Slice or something like that.
be nice.
Yeah. And it's over there by that pho place that we used to love so much.
Nice.
But I've
So
never,
Brookhurst and Slater,
Talbert,
Talbert. That's right.
cross street from the hospital.
Gotcha. Where Claim Jumper used to be, that whole shopping center over there.
Yeah. But no,
Is
it's in the
Pickup
same,
Sticks there anymore?
no, Pickup Sticks is long gone. There's another one there called Marchon Chicken. What's that chicken place called, Jody, over there? Marchon, is it? Huh? Maison chicken. And oh
Is
my
it a
gosh,
Japanese place?
I think it's French.
Okay.
Yeah, it is so good.
Really good.
I'm not a big chicken fan, but I really like that Maison chicken. It's
Hmm.
really good.
Another place to try.
Yeah, but yeah,
I did enjoy going to Bonchon with you guys when we were
that
down there
banchan
for
was really good.
Labor Day weekend. And our boys were so stoked because they're all, Dad, we've been to this place before. I'm all, we have?
Yeah.
They're all, yeah, they had this in New York. And I'm like, oh, what? Because we stayed in Koreatown when we went to New York in
Okay.
May. And so at night we would just go out, like we'd go do a bunch of stuff during the day. And then whoever was hungry, like at 10, 11 at night, we'd like filter out down to the main street there in Koreatown and eat something. So there was one there, and that's funny. They remembered it. I totally didn't remember it
Was.
at all. But they're like, oh, yeah, we got chicken here when we were in New York too. And I'm like, oh, okay, awesome. So that was fun. I'm trying to think of, I think I still need to go to Vox with you guys. And
That
so,
box is good. I think you'd like
yeah.
it. And you've been to Broderd, I think, haven't you? Or
Yeah, I've been to Brodard with you guys. Yeah, it's been a
and
long
they
time, but
they
yeah,
opened another restaurant over there. It's called Ini, INI, and it's an Italian restaurant where Blockbuster used to be. But and remember, then there was a Vietnamese banh mi place in there for a long time.
back in that back corner, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, I do remember that.
at the it was at the first turn in after you turned left on Brookhurst on Heil. It was the turn in by Denny's there, but it's on the
Yeah,
opposite side of the turn
yeah.
from Denny's. So yeah, we've never been to that one. Oh, and then there's one, a Japanese place that we really love called Nagi Noodles that I think you'd really like. And it's not sweet noodles like the udon noodles, although I think they do have those. But these are the regular handmade, hand stretched noodles, Japanese noodles that they've got. And they got different savory broths and meats. And, you can get pork belly in it. You can get sliced pork loin, chicken, whatever you want in there. And oh my gosh, that is so good. I'm not a big
Sounds good.
noodle guy myself, but that's one place that I really love that does noodles. That and the Szechuan place over on South Coast Plaza.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that too.
Yeah.
I love noodles and I love hand pulled noodles. So more places to try.
Yeah, there you go.
So we were in Brazil the last 2 weeks. You know this, but so one of the interesting things about talking about pizza is pizza's a really big deal in Sao Paulo.
Really?
I wouldn't say it's like their biggest food, but it is like they're pretty passionate about their pizza there. They're also passionate about the churrasco or their barbecue, which is mostly like steak type things, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that type of thing. So, and Fogo de Chão is actually in Brazil. So that's like a Brazilian chain that came to the United States.
Thought it was Argentinian.
Maybe. Yeah, I just know that. Well, actually, I saw something or was reading something about it because when we were in Rio, we wanted to go to a churrascaria. We went to a churrascaria or a barbecue place in Sao Paulo, and we had it at people's houses. And then we wanted to like try some in Rio too. And there was this one called Churrascaria Palace in Rio that's like got awesome reviews and everything. And then the next one that popped up after that was Fogo de Chão. And I was reading a little something on it. I'm like, oh, is this like, and it said is that it's like an original authentic Brazilian or not, yeah, Brazilian chain. So I
Okay.
don't know.
No, no, I
But
mean, it could be. I knew it was South American. My
our
Argentinian.
Brazil really gets their, and I've had several Brazilians tell me this, that they get their barbecue, their steak loving influence mainly from Argentina, right? So it's Argentinian influence. The southern part of Brazil borders on Argentina, and it borders on the areas like in Uruguay and Argentina where you have like these big open plains that are just like perfect cattle raising country. And so I've had a lot of Brazilians actually tell me that the Argentinian barbecue influence is big on Brazil. Brazil took from them and has added some of their own twists and whatnot.
Well, please tell me
One of
that the
those
pizza
places.
influence is not Domino's or Pizza Hut or one.
Okay, so no, it's not, but they do have some interesting types of pizza down there that we really liked. But I will say this: we were at the airport and one of the boys was like, there's a food court there and it's all like, honestly, it was like KFC, Burger King, McDonald's, and then the names were different, but it was like places, like they had an Italian place that might as well have been Zabaro. You know what I mean? Like it looked like places, some of the names of the other places were different besides the brand name American fast food places, but they looked just like something you would see. Like there was a Chinese place that was like a Panda Express, right? There was like a Japanese place that was like a fast food. I swear I've seen a million of them in malls and food courts in the United States. Same kind
So
of
the
thing, right?
McDonald's, instead of golden arches, it had the yellow arches or whatever the knockoff was in that King of Queens.
No, yeah, yeah. And what was that? Coming to America.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, Coming to America. That was it.
Instead of the Big Mac, we got the Big Mick.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a good one. But yeah, so anyways, we were like, well, we're hungry. We're going to grab something to
I'll be right
eat.
back.
And so the first place that we went to actually, because Red's like, Dad, I just feel like pizza. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, it looks like all they got here is Pizza Hut. Is that what you want? He's like, yeah, I'm fine with Pizza Hut. Which, like, we never even get Pizza Hut here in America ever. He just wanted pizza. So we ordered a pizza there, a small pizza, and it was a Brazilian, it was called the Brasileira, right? The Brazilian. And it had ham on it, but like real ham, not like lunch meat ham. Like it was real slices of ham. And then it had green olives, sliced green olives on it, pickled green olives, and it had this really soft fresh cheese, like a ricotta kind of a treat, but different. I would say it was probably, in texture it was more like ricotta, and flavor it was more like cream cheese, but it was a delicious combo. It was so good. Like we were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're loving Pizza Hut, right? We had some other things. Min got something from Burger King because we wanted an all you could drink refill or something, and they were the only one in the food court that had that. I went to a Japanese place and got a tonkatsu, with the Japanese style curry sauce like that Hiroko used to make, and it was actually just spot on. It was delicious. It was really nice thin tonkatsu, and the curry sauce was really good. So I was super happy. But I did have a piece of that pizza and I was like, oh dang, that's really good. So then the next time we were at a place where we were at a food court at the airport or wherever, I think actually we weren't in an airport. We were actually at a mall at a food court this second time while we were waiting. We had some time to kill before a tour that we were taking in Foz de Iguazu. And so Red's like, hey, I want to get pizza again. And I'm like, well, I'm going to get a bigger one now because I want a couple pieces of it this time. And we got that same pizza from Pizza Hut, and it was really good. Again, it's like real ham, like I'm talking like not quite as thick.
Not like the Canadian bacon ham where
No, and I love Canadian bacon on pizza too, but it was thicker, like not thick like you would, the spiral cut hams. It wasn't quite that thick, but it was like probably 3 times as thick as your average slice of lunch meat ham. So, and the ham just was really good and flavorful, and the olives and that cheese combo all together were really delicious. It was really good, surprisingly good. But we did try Brazilian pizza from Brazilian place. When we were in Rio, we met a coworker of Minnie's for dinner and had some excellent pizza. They like calabrese sausage is one of their favorite things on it. Like you can get a pepperoni pizza anywhere, but like their go-to pizza there is the calabrese, and it usually has some onions on it, like some sliced onions, like rings, but thin
right.
sliced, and they'll just put them around the pizza, and it's really good. It's such a good combo. Another thing that they're really big into there that blows my mind, I didn't find a place to try it, and I should have put it higher on our priority list, but they love stuffed crust pizza. But one of the things, and this is in Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo is really big on that. Like I talked to a couple different people there and asked them what's when you think of food in Sao Paulo, what do you guys love? And they're like, well, like churrasco, of course, but pizza is like, so, like it's very common there that like you go to a Brazilian steakhouse and they have the waiters that come to the table and slice the meat there at the table, and you use your little tongs there to grab the piece of meat and put it on your plate. They have the same thing with pizza. So they call that rodizio. And so they do rodizio for pizza too. And so they go around with different kinds of pizza. It's really big there. But the thing with their stuffed crust pizza is they like sweet stuffed crust with a savory pizza.
Really?
So you might get a calabrese pizza, with some calabrese sausage and onions or whatnot, and it will have chocolate in the crust, in the stuffed
Really?
crust. So you have this savory pizza that you eat, and then at the end of each piece, you get a little dessert, right? So and they have the three most common ones I saw were either chocolate, which we had at some of these other places. They didn't have it in the crust, but they had a little dessert pizza that we got. We tried all the three main types that you usually see at the place. The chocolate is one, which was okay, nothing big. Nutella was another. I thought Nutella was better, and I usually prefer chocolate over Nutella.
Yeah, me too.
But the one that I like the best is they have a dessert there. It's kind of like and they call it a brigadeiro. And they had a brigadeiro stuffed pizza. So it's a little bit thicker, like almost a little bit pasty, but not pasty. It's soft, but it has that consistency. You know what I mean? And so they would have that in there. It's chocolate, condensed milk, and some other things, but it really looks, and then they roll it like in some chocolate sprinkles. So it really does look like a truffle. But I think it's softer than a truffle. It must be because of the condensed milk, I'm guessing. I don't know. But they had stuffed crust with that, or we tried pizza that had that in the middle, right? And it was really good. They really do have some really good combinations. Another combination that we absolutely loved. So, like chimichurri is a big deal in Argentina with steak, right? And it's actually a big deal in Brazil too. They love chimichurri. Every churrascaria that we went to, you got chimichurri. But the other thing that's a little more Brazilian from what people told me is they have this pepper sauce. So it's like a molho de pimenta. It would, they'd have peppers, but they had chili peppers in them, some sort of chili pepper, a little bit spicy, not too spicy, and almost like a mustardy kind of sauce at a couple of the places that we tried it. But it also had a strong, like black pepper kind of a flavor to it as well. And it was a really good, like, I don't know what we can compare it to here in America, but it was really good for dipping bites of steak in, or other things as well, but the steak especially. So it was really good. So at the Churrascaria Palace in Rio, I had like the molho de pimenta, and some chimichurri, and I'm like one bite in the chimichurri, next bite in the pepper sauce, right? And it was really good. The pizza version of this was even better. It might have been our favorite. Honestly, the calabrese and the brasileira with the ham and the olives and that cheese,
Yeah.
It was amazing. But this other one was it was right there, and it's pepper marmalade. So they would have a cheese pizza with a sweet pepper marmalade on it. Again, with that, like there was a little bit of like a pepper, like chili pepper type of a flavor, a little bit of the black pepper kind of a flavor to it. So I think there was probably a mix in there. And then it was like a sweet marmalade that they would drizzle over the pizza. And the salty sweet combo was fantastic. It was really, really good. So I want to figure out,
like that red pepper relish that your mom makes.
It's different. It's spicier and peppery, and more of a peppery flavor.
Yeah.
But I think there's some similarities. And to be honest, Dad, now that you say that, I wouldn't mind trying it.
Pepper marmalade.
I wouldn't mind trying that and see how that works. Taking some cheese pizza or something and putting a little bit of that on there and see.
Yeah.
Actually, I think with some meat would be even better, like some sausage or pepperoni even. But that's a good idea too.
I mean, we usually just have it with cream cheese. Pour it on cream cheese and then use crackers or to dip into you.
some Ritz crackers or veggies. We've done it with veggies before too.
Yeah, it's good
So
with veggies too.
that's a good idea. I'll have to give that a run. But yeah, Brazil trip was awesome. We got to see some really cool things. The beaches in Rio are fantastic. The food was really good. Like we really enjoyed the food everywhere we went. The best food we had, Cruz has been telling this for like the whole time he's been there. He's like, "Oh, when we go out to eat, the food's okay." He's like, "Oh, it's good." He's all, "I think I like eating out better in the States. Like I like the food we go out and eat out in the States better." He's all, "But it's not bad. Like it's good." He's all, "But I think the average homemaker, the average wife, mother, whatever in Brazil is a way better cook." And he's like, "I'm not saying they're better than mom." You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So, cause I think mom's an awesome cook and he's sincere about that.
yeah.
Kristen really is a good cook.
She is.
She's found a lot of good recipes and stuff. So we eat very well. But he says that he's been saying forever his favorite place to eat. There's always, you know, a gal or two, a lady or two, wherever he's working, that they'll have him
Some
over
for
for
dinner.
dinner or lunch, and on a regular basis. And he says their food is just amazing. So we actually went to a couple of these people from areas that he had worked in before, and went to their houses and had dinner or lunch with them, and their cooking was fantastic. I mean, honestly, it was like at the end of the trip, I'm, "Oh, best thing you ate on the trip." Well, we always do like a debrief like that with the kids. Like, what was your favorite place we went? What was your favorite food you ate? What was your favorite meal? You know, what was your favorite dessert? We just kind of go through. And every one of them, Minnie, Red, and Earl, all said this one lady's house, like that we ate at. Yeah, and she and Dad, the stuff was very simple.
Yeah,
She made a simple couscous that was delicious. She had a vinaigrette salad that they call it vinaigrette, and it's like a Brazilian pico de gallo. And so it's got a lot of diced tomatoes and diced onions mixed together with a little bit of green herbs. I don't know quite what it was. It was very small amount. Like you really had to look to see it. But then they have like a vinegar based, probably a little bit of olive oil or something, and a little bit of vinegar that they mix it with in, and some salt. It's very simple, but it's really tasty, and it's a really good companion bite with a lot of other things that they serve. But so she made that. She made this like pinto beans, like these like it wasn't refried. It was somewhere in between a soupy refried bean or a soupy pinto bean and a refried bean.
so
So
it
it
had
was a
a lot of
thicker.
down beans in it, but still
Yes,
some whole.
yes. It had a lot of cooked down beans, and it had I think she must have used a ham bone or something because it was a little bit gelatinous, and I mean that in a good way, in a thick way,
Gelatinous
not a
good with me.
yeah, yeah. I don't want people to think
I
like,
mean, I eat head
you
cheese
know,
and love it.
right, you love head cheese, right? And it wasn't like that. It was just it had a thicker cornstarch kind of thickness to it, and they were delicious beans, and they were just simple beans, but they were delicious. Everybody was putting it over white rice. She made a homemade bolognese sauce with the pizza. But her best thing that she made, her desserts were awesome too, by the way. But the best thing she made was this fried chicken. She was pounding out chicken breasts till they were thin, and then dipping them in like an egg wash flour, and then like a panko bread crust kind of a thing. I don't think it was panko because I was asking her about it, and they don't have panko down there, or she didn't know what it
They
was.
stale breadcrumbs, and she just
Yeah, it might have been.
rolling
Yeah,
it in or something.
exactly, and maybe some cornflakes or something because there were some bigger chunks in there, and it was so crispy and so juicy and just nice and thin. So you were getting all these
Korean chicken.
tons of crunch in every bite,
Yeah.
and it was good. And Cruz was like, "Oh, I'm telling you, this is my favorite place that I would eat on my whole mission the whole time I've
My
been down here in
favorite
Brazil."
Indian place was up in Hawthorne. And these people they put tables in their living room and their backyard and
But
stuff.
yeah, I remember you telling me
People,
about this.
my gosh. And it was like a family doing the cooking and all that. And oh my gosh, it was so good. And the guy that I guess was the husband, they had the tandoori there, and he would do that fresh naan bread in that tandoori and bring that over to you just so hot. You couldn't touch it.
Yeah,
Somehow he was touching it, but you couldn't touch it. It was so hot. But oh my gosh, the flavors and their Indian food and their naan bread and all that stuff, it's just the best I've ever had.
it's
I've been to
awesome.
a lot of Indian restaurants and whatnot, but just nothing compares to that. And it was out of somebody's house, like you said.
Yeah,
It was the family doing the cooking type thing, you know.
yeah. And I agree with Cruz that some of the best meals, if not the best that we had there, were in people's homes, and were very well fed. So with really good food.
Yeah.
It was
And
fun.
that's the way I feel too. Your mom's cooking is so much better than what we get going out to restaurant.
Yeah.
I just posted it this morning. I don't know if you saw it yet or
The
not.
Mexican food. I haven't been in to
Chili,
answer things yet,
the
but yeah, I
chili
did see
relleno.
that you had
Yeah.
posted.
So that was her
Yeah.
first try at it, and man, it was a success. Those chili rellenos were so good,
I love
and
chili
her
rellenos.
Spanish rice is just spot on.
Is it nice and fluffy and just like kind of split open, kind of a puffed?
She doesn't fry hers to the point of where you get that split in it there. She leaves it
Yeah.
more moist. It's not wet, but it's
Yeah.
more moist. You know, the ones that are split, it's almost like it's kind of dried out and
Yeah.
splits.
Some get that way, but some don't. Some are still like they're not wet, they're just a little bit moist, but they're puffed out like that. And that's my favorite when it gets to that point where it's just
That's the
like, oh
way
my
you
gosh.
can see it on the plate. That's the way her Spanish rice is. And then her fresh chipotle, roasted chipotle sauce on top of it was just so good.
That
I
sounds
mean, it
good.
was
I'm
just,
fasting today and I'm like
oh,
dying
I'm
right
sorry,
now.
Aaron.
That sounds so. No, it's okay. We
We're
always
talking about food.
we talk
Over
about
here.
food every Tuesday. I'm always fasting on Tuesday. Tuesday is like it's like my
No wonder
busiest
we're
day. So
talking about food.
yeah, I'd never shy away from talking about food, but
Yeah.
I'm getting extra hungry today.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
probably partly too because I haven't fasted in the last couple of weeks and I'm dying for a good fast. But well, I think there is a little once you start fasting when you've been off for a little bit, it's a little bit harder that first time.
it is. It's harder getting back into it. It's something you
So
need to do regularly.
yeah, the more often
And
you
then,
do it, I think the
and the
easier it is.
easier it gets. It's
Yeah,
a breeze. You know, you can do 3 days standing on your head. You know, it's not,
yeah, yeah. Especially after the first day. The first day
yeah.
is always the,
Well,
and
first,
not that it's difficult as you do it more often, but it is the most difficult of if you do a 3 day water fast, it's the most difficult of the 3 days. Once you get past that first day, you're like, all right, I'm good. I'm going for 2 days. I'm going for 3 days more. It's like
yeah,
easy.
yeah,
But
yeah.
okay, well, we better jump on some of these questions here. I got a bunch built up from over while I was in Brazil. I want to thank Brian Smedley too, by the way, a newer member um of
First step.
First Step. Yeah, and he's been like just peppering me with like super good questions. Like I think they're questions a lot of people new to Bitcoin have. So because there's a little bit of confusion in particular about wallets, right? So I think we had I posted something about this a couple times over the last month in First Step Bitcoin about hardware wallets.
Hmm.
One, I was asking everybody's opinion: do beginners need a hardware wallet? And got some good info there, and then also like um, what hardware wallet do you use if you use one. I love it when people give us feedback and say, hey, this is the one I use, it's super easy to set up, yada yada yada. So it's really really good. I love that we're getting good feedback from members of the community. But I just want to say I really don't think a new person a person new to Bitcoin needs to worry about a hardware wallet. All right. And first, for those of you, if you don't know what a hardware wallet is, when you make a Bitcoin transaction, you have two pieces, and I've talked about this before, but it's a pretty simple analogy, so I'll use it again here. You've got for every Bitcoin address where Bitcoin can be on the blockchain, because Bitcoin, you don't actually hold it in the wallet, you hold these keys that allow you to access it on the Bitcoin network, right? Or the blockchain, right? And so you get two types of keys. You have private keys and you have public keys. And an analogy I like to use is public keys are you can give them to anyone because all they can do is send you Bitcoin with them. So it's just like your email address. You can send your email address to anyone. The worst thing they can do is, spam you with a bunch of email that you don't want, right? And then the same thing with Bitcoin. If you give someone your public key, the worst thing they can do is send you Bitcoin. Whoop-de-doo, twist my arm, break my heart. It's like no big deal.
They can't
So
withdraw any.
they can't withdraw anything. For that, they would need your private keys. So the private keys you need to have private keys in order to what's called sign a transaction, or basically to authorize Bitcoin to be sent. So in order to send Bitcoin, you need permission to do that. And your private keys are that permission. So I like to liken those to your username and password for your email account, right? You have to have those to log in and be able to send email out, to make changes to your email inbox or to your whatever in there. So anything that that sends email out like you would send out Bitcoin, you have to have that username and password. If you're going to send Bitcoin, you need to have the private keys. So the private keys sign the transaction or give permission for Bitcoin to be sent from your address on the Bitcoin network on the blockchain to some other address on the blockchain. What a hardware wallet is it's a small device. Dang, I don't have one near me here. I would say it's like a thumb drive. A lot of them are about the size of a thumb drive. And what that does is it holds your private keys on the hardware device. So when you're using like a wallet, like say like Blue Wallet, which I recommend a lot of people start off with, if you set up Blue Wallet to work with a hardware wallet, the Blue Wallet, you can say, okay, send this Bitcoin. And then as soon as you say send it, it's going to say, hey, I need to communicate with the
Authorization.
hardware wallet. I need authorization to send this. It doesn't say that exactly, but that's what it's actually, that's what's happening. It realizes it doesn't have the private keys. It doesn't have the username and password, so to speak, like email to send email. It doesn't have the private keys to send Bitcoin, but the hardware wallet does. So you can usually connect to that. Either there's different methods. You could connect to it through Bluetooth. You could plug it in through USB to your device. You could use a really good air gapped one is a Blockstream Jade that gives you a little QR code. And then you can scan the QR code with, you can scan the camera on your phone and that'll, or the camera, it's not the camera, but your Blue Wallet app on your phone will access your camera, scan that code, get the private keys, and say, okay, I'm authorized to send this transaction, and it'll send it out, right?
Without sending the private keys to.
Without, yeah, and the private keys aren't actually, in that case, they're not actually ever connected to the internet, which is also a really good thing. You don't want to have that happen. But I would say this, a hot wallet is a wallet that has private keys in it and it's connected to the internet. And it's less secure than a cold wallet, which is a wallet that doesn't have the keys connected to the internet. So a hardware wallet would be considered a cold wallet as well because it's not connected to the internet. Some of them actually are connected very briefly to the internet because when it connects, if you connect through USB or Bluetooth, there is a connection, but it's a one extra hop away. And even when you do that, even when you don't have, when you're using a hot wallet, the chances of you getting hacked are very, very, very small. I don't want everybody to freak out about this because usually when you're getting started in Bitcoin, you're probably going to use a hot wallet to start. And that's how I recommend you start just to get set up. You know, once you're set up, it's easy to turn a wallet like Blue Wallet into either a cold wallet where you move the keys off to a hardware wallet instead or some other place, or a watch only wallet where a watch only wallet you can actually you remove the private keys and it can actually generate new public address or public addresses that you can give to people so they can send you Bitcoin. You can see your balance, but you don't have the authorization to send any Bitcoin, right? And this is probably the best thing you should do long term on your phone if you have a Bitcoin wallet on your phone is have a watch only mode. And then maybe you link it to a hardware wallet to send if you're sending. But here's the reason I don't recommend new users start worrying about a hardware wallet and to get too worried about hot and cold wallets. We'll cover that in more detail. But when you're new to Bitcoin, especially younger people, you're going to be in the accumulating phase. You're going to be buying Bitcoin and acquiring it and getting more Bitcoin for a long time before you need to worry about spending it. And until you're worried about spending it, you don't need to worry about having something like a cold wallet and a hardware wallet that allows you to send Bitcoin more securely. Long term, do I use one? Totally. I think if everybody who feels comfortable using one eventually should. But to get started in Bitcoin, you don't need a hardware wallet. And the thing that I was telling Brian and other people too, the more important thing to do when you first start off in Bitcoin is to get a metal wallet. And what a metal wallet is, and we've talked about this before, Dad. I sent you one for Christmas, a bill fodder. When you set up a wallet like Blue Wallet, Green Wallet, Moon, Sparrow, all the wallets out there, they give you a code. Moon's a little different, but the other ones, they will give you like a 12-word phrase that you can use to restore your wallet if it becomes corrupt or if your phone gets lost or whatever. You'll have this 12 or 24-word phrase that you can use to recreate the wallet on a new device or on your same device again if you had to uninstall the app for some reason. And The metal wallet is a hard backup, a physical backup of that phrase, of that 12 or 24 word. Most of them are 12-word phrases. And it's fireproof, it's waterproof. You can put it in a safe in your home. You could put it into a safe deposit box at a bank or other secure places where you'd be able to access it if you needed to rebuild a wallet. The thing of it is um, I've yet to have to rebuild a wallet. I've done it for testing purposes, which is another thing I walk new Bitcoiners through is how to do a test recovery when you first start off in Bitcoin, just so you know right away that, hey, I got my phrase written down correctly. I was able to restore my wallet to another device. I was able to send Bitcoin from it. These are really good things to test. I learned a lot about this kind of stuff working in cybersecurity. People would have these backups of all their most critical data. And I ran into situations with people where they were having, or I wasn't involved with it, but I saw from a very close up distance people that in a crisis when they had a machine had failed, hard drives failed, whatever, and they went to go restore data and it didn't work. So their backups they had never been tested, right? And
Mhm.
so they get into the critical moment when they need it and they've never done a test of it. And that's when they find out what the problems are with their backup system. And so that's the same thing I like to run through new Bitcoiners with. And this may sound complicated. It's not. It's very simple to do. It's almost as easy as setting up a wallet for the first time. Actually, it kind of is, because when you set up a wallet for the first time, you're going to write down on a piece of paper your 12-word recovery phrase. So when you recover a wallet, you're just doing the opposite of it. You're going to take that backup of your 12-word recovery phrase and you're going to enter it into, you're going to choose the option to restore a wallet or recreate a wallet, and you're going to type in those 12 words. It's super simple. It's really easy, but you can do this, set it up on another device, make sure that, so typical process is like this. Someone goes to buy Bitcoin for the first time. They buy it at an exchange like Swan, or maybe they buy it on Cash App or something like that. Then they go to set up a wallet where they can transfer that Bitcoin, where they can hold it in a Bitcoin only wallet, which is more ideal than holding it on an exchange, even a Bitcoin only exchange like Swan Bitcoin or Cash App is a semi Bitcoin only. It doesn't do any other crypto, but you can buy other investments there. So it's better to put it on a wallet that has been tested and backed up. So you buy your Bitcoin, you go up, you set up a wallet like Blue Wallet. You write down that 12-word phrase, right? You send a small amount of Bitcoin on there, the smallest they'll let you. Some places $10 is the smallest amount. Other places I've seen you could send as little as $1. And so you'll send the dollar over to your wallet. Once it arrives, what you do is you take that backup phrase, that recovery phrase, that 12-word phrase that you wrote down, and you go to another device. You could do it with Blue Wallet, you can set it up on a laptop, you can set it up on a tablet, or you can set it
That's
up
the
on
way I
another
did.
phone,
Yeah.
So you could go to mom's phone and you could set it up on her phone,
I did
right?
it originally on my cell phone, and then I typed the 12 words in again on my tablet so that I
And
could
when
sure that it worked, and it did.
And Dad, when you did that, I remember that. So that was probably around February 24,
It
right? Somewhere
was.
around that
Yeah,
time frame. And you were brand spanking new to Bitcoin, right? I think you had just bought your first Bitcoin that same night.
I did.
How easy was it to run through that little test?
It was not difficult at all.
Yeah. And how was it easy to set up the wallet to start as well, the Blue
Uh,
wallet?
the wallet was really easy to set up. I didn't have an authenticator though, which I think I had to go do
Yeah.
set up an authenticator first, which was not hard either. But once I
Nope.
set up that authenticator, then I could go ahead and finish setting
Yeah.
up the wallet. But
And
when I
that
went
was
to my
because,
tablet, all I did was I installed the Blue Wallet app, and then I used my 12-word phrase to open that wallet with my $10 or whatever, how much I had transferred over
hmm
from that Swan so that I could see it then on my tablet also.
yeah. And I
So
think we
yeah,
had
it
you do
was
a quick test to send a little bit of Bitcoin off of the device that your test recovery device to make sure because you want to make sure your private keys work to send Bitcoin off of there too. And once you've done that, now you've proven to yourself, hey, I've got the right code written down. I've already recovered this. It's like day one, and I've already done these simple but very important things to start my life as a
during my
Bitcoiner.
investment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you have got confidence that, hey, if I had to do this again, I would know exactly what to do. right? So this is what I would want to tell people. Instead of worrying about a hardware wallet first, let's go through this process first. Let's go through, buy your first Bitcoin, set up your first Bitcoin only wallet, send some Bitcoin to it, go to a small amount of Bitcoin, go to a second device, a tablet, someone else's phone, a second phone you have, a laptop, download the wallet to that device and choose the option to recreate or to, set up an existing wallet. Use that 12-word recovery phrase, set it up, make sure that that $10 or whatever small amount of Bitcoin you sent there is there. Send it to a second wallet so you can prove that, hey, I can send out as well. Now I know this wallet is fully functional. I've got the right recovery phrase. I've got it written down properly. It works. So here's where the Meta wallet comes in. Then you're going to use a Meta wallet like a bill throttle, and you're going to it's a little tray, a metal tray, and it has tiles that come with it. And you slide the tiles into the empty slots on the tray. There's 12 empty slots on one side and 12 on the other. So you could do a 12 or a 24-word phrase. You slide the little tiles in there until you make your and now you have you have a cold wallet, which is the metal wallet. You've also backed up your recovery phrase because a hardware wallet does not back up your recovery phrase. So even if you're going to use a hardware wallet, you want to have a metal wallet as well to back up the recovery phrase for your wallet, which is your recovery phrase relates to your private keys, right? So you're really backing up your private keys. And you want to make sure you do that. And the metal wallet is the best way, personally think, to do it. Other people would argue like a multi-sig situation where there's different wallets you can use to do this. But if you're going to do it with different wallets, you want to have a metal wallet for each of those wallets. But you can set up a system where you need at least 2 of 3 or 3 of 5 wallets to participate, to authenticate or sign a transaction, right? And that's a little bit more complex. I don't want to worry about that first step Bitcoin. People that go through first step Bitcoin and get going with the basics of buying that first Bitcoin, setting up a Bitcoin only wallet and getting it set up right and backed up properly with a metal wallet, and then setting up recurring buys. So you're buying Bitcoin, you're thinking long term, I want to buy Bitcoin for 20 years from now, for 30 years from now, for whatever it is. And so you're buying on a recurring basis. That's the basics I want to get people through, is getting them safely and powerfully started with Bitcoin. And then I will have other stuff. I'm going to have some paid courses and stuff for people to move to next steps and start talking about, okay, now I want to set up a hardware wallet. Now I want to set up a multi-sig situation. But you don't need to do that as a new Bitcoiner. You don't need to get started and start really accessing the full power that Bitcoin has to build wealth for you and financial freedom. You don't need to get into those other scenarios. You need to start buying it, and you need to buy it on a regular basis, and you need to store it in a safe that you could back up and recover if you ever needed to.
Start off having something to secure and then secure it. Yeah.
Yep, for sure. So that is where, when we talk about wallets, what you need to understand. And then there were some other things that I've been talking about and that Brian was asking questions about too, differences between hot and cold wallets. And you're going to see a lot of people in the Bitcoin community say, like, you should only have cold wallets. I disagree. Like, it's more important to get started simply and safely in Bitcoin than to immediately move to a more difficult way of doing it that definitely maximizes the security, but I think it minimizes or it lessens the amount of people that are going to start, because they're going to be intimidated by, the complexity of it, and it being more technical, and them, like, either it is more too technical for them, or they get psyched out because they're worried it will be too technical for
Well,
them.
it was definitely more interesting for me learning about wallets once I owned some Bitcoin than it was
Yeah.
before. Then
Yeah.
all of a sudden it had some meaning because, yeah, I do have something and it's out there in the cloud somewhere. You can't really
Yeah.
see it, but now I know it's there and it's my money and I want it protected. Then
Yeah.
it was a lot more. I had the interest to hear and learn and do those things, which before I bought it, it's like, oh yeah, it's nice to know. Cold wallet, hot wallet, cloud wallet, who cares? you know,
Yeah, it means almost nothing to you at that
nothing.
point in time.
But then
You
you
might
get some
learn it and
real
go, "Oh,
money.
I know what a hot wallet is. I know what a cold wallet is." And then 2 days later, someone can ask you, "What's a hot and cold wallet?" "Oh, I just read about this." I don't
Yeah,
know.
something real.
But it's a lot more real when you've got skin in the game. Once you start buying Bitcoin, and I say this all the time, and it's so true. There's certain things in life you don't really understand them until you use them. You can understand them on like an academic or you could regurgitate it, but do you really understand? Like you could teach someone how to play soccer or football or some sport, right? Even if you've never played that. But do you really understand it like someone who's played that for years? You know what I'm saying? There's certain things that you go through these experiences and you learn them. And I think Bitcoin is one of those things. I just watched so many people know nothing about Bitcoin, talk about it for years, then they finally do it. And then they're coming to me with all kinds of questions about things they want to know more about, or like we'll have conversations and they get things now that they weren't getting before because now they're in a position where it means
It
something
matters.
to
Yeah.
them. It matters. Yeah. So once you get that skin in the game,
Did you see that thing I posted this morning about Michael Saylor and other prominent Bitcoin?
no, I saw, I got a little notification on
So they're
my
in
notification
Washington,
center, but
D.C. today having meetings trying to figure out how to get that Cynthia Loomis bill through Congress and get it to Donald Trump, which is the strategic Bitcoin reserve that's going to really set the whole thing up in law. I mean, right now it's just an executive order
yeah.
that the next president come in and just day one with a swipe of his pen do it in. They're trying to get it codified. Anyways, it's really been dragging kind of. So Michael Saylor and a lot of other big name Bitcoin investors are up there on Capitol Hill trying to get that Bitcoin strategic reserve bill broken loose because I think she actually introduced that back in 2024, couldn't get any traction, then reintroduced it in March, and they got the Genius Act through, which did all the stable coins and all that sort of stuff and other cryptos, and including Bitcoin. And they got the regulatory one, then the Clarity Act, but they still need this strategic Bitcoin reserve, which is only Bitcoin this one addresses, and it's kind of stalled. So those guys are all up there in DC today trying to, there's like 20 of them went up there and they're holding meetings, I guess, with legislators and different people to try to get that thing moving and get that strategic.
Do you know any of the reasons that it stalled?
It
From
just,
what you've
they
read?
had so much other legislation that they've been trying to work on. Then they came up to summer recess and all that kind of stuff. And it's just kind of been laying idly by, there. And there's been a lot of immediate things they needed to address. And that one, I guess, was lower on the importance scale or whatever. So these
Yeah.
guys are back there trying to get them to move it up high on the importance scale, get that strategic Bitcoin reserve set. And then I think what they do is they authorize 1 million Bitcoins to be purchased by the federal government and held in strategic reserve. And so, that's kind of where we are right now is, that's something we've been waiting on ever since the election, really. I mean, I had high hopes that would go through right away, but it's really been stalled. And I'm glad to see now that people are paying attention to it because, I think that's kind of the final thing that's going to really set the confidence bar a lot higher, knowing that the US is really looking towards Bitcoin as a strategic reserve. And,
Yeah.
they're talking about budget neutral ways to do it. And I think it'd be huge because one of the ways is to sell gold and buy Bitcoin and showing that really shows, I mean, the ultimate hedge in monetary policy up to this time has been the gold standard. And
Well,
so,
that's not going to be popular with
if they're,
the gold crowd. And I'm thinking
well,
of, in particular, a couple of guys.
some of those guys,
Yeah, Peter Schiff. And there's another guy, the investment biker that,
well, even Peter Schiff is starting to soften on
yeah.
Bitcoin now. So, but when, they make that move and say, hey, we trust this as much as we trust gold, or maybe more than we trust gold,
Well, if you're
then
selling gold
we're
to
selling
buy
gold to buy
Bitcoin,
Bitcoin, then everybody says,
and the
that's not
secondary effects of that are gonna, I mean, and this is why I think it's so good for us to start doing this. Because other countries are already doing this. None of the really big countries have bought a significant amount yet,
yeah.
but other countries are.
And
And
several
if we're
states
late,
within the United States have
several states,
strategic
cities,
coin
and
reserves.
the longer we wait, the later we get to the game, the more the government pays for that. And then also once they start selling gold, because it is only a matter of time, in my opinion, that there are going to be countries that are going to start liquidating their gold,
I think
even if it's like, hey, we want to have our reserves like 50-50, half gold, half Bitcoin. That's going to put downward pressure on the price. It's going to lower the price, drop the price of gold. And so you really, if you're the United States government, you really want to get ahead of that
exactly.
curve.
Early
You don't want to
adopters
be
get the
letting someone
highest
else.
value
Yeah.
for the gold.
And then long term, what I don't think a lot of people understand is the government, if it has a reserve like Bitcoin, it is going to enable the government to do things that you may think is, we all have our opinions on what the government should and should not be doing, right? But all of us, almost all of us have something, except for maybe like the most extreme, you know, anarchists
Yeah,
or
I think there
most
should be
ardent
a government.
anarchists want something from the government, right? And for the government to be able to do that, it needs to have a way to fund itself and to plan for the future and whatnot. And I think Bitcoin's going to give them that. But the sooner you get involved, the more you'll benefit from it. The later you get involved, the more other countries are going to benefit from it. The more it's going to cost you to buy it. So I really would like to see the US get ahead of the curve. I do like you posted something in there about the executive order as well, that he ordered all the different
Well, I
government
posted a link
departments
to it.
that have Bitcoin that's been
Right.
confiscated from other people to turn it over. I think that's a really good first start because I think the US government, last time I read about it, holds just under 200,000 Bitcoin
Well,
in
that's
different.
already, I think, been transferred into the strategic
So
reserve.
it has happened
Yeah,
then.
that has. But, as more is seized in legal, operations from drug cartels or terrorists or wherever they're seizing it from, that's what the only place it can go now is into that strategic Bitcoin reserve per the executive order. And that needs to be codified too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I'm really hopeful that those guys will, get that broken loose and maybe we see that legislation signed soon because
It really would be beneficial.
it would be so
This
beneficial.
is not like even if this is happening under the Trump administration, this isn't a right. Bitcoin does not care about your politics. It
No,
really doesn't.
so far the legislation that's gone through Congress has been very bipartisan. All of it's had
Yeah,
bipartisan
that's good.
support. There are
That's very
people
good.
on both sides of the aisle that see the value to Bitcoin, not only in their own portfolio, but for everybody else. They see the value. So,
Yeah,
yeah, it's got support on Democrat and Republican.
that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
When it goes through just the Republicans that are passing it, the Democrats are making improvements to the law and all that too.
Yeah,
So you got buy-in from both
that's
sides.
good.
It's not
It will benefit us so well. And like Trump has said this, whether you like Trump or you don't, he has said that he wants America to be the place where it's like the hub of Bitcoin development of this. It really is the future of
mining
money.
everything. Yeah.
We want to benefit, and look, I want everybody to benefit. I don't want it to be an exclusive American thing, but I want us to be like very pro Bitcoin
And
because
on the
not
ground
only is it going to help us, it's going to help people all over the world.
it is.
I want to see every country become Bitcoin friendly and start setting up a Bitcoin strategic reserve, make laws that make it very friendly for people to do mining. The more miners we have across the world, the better. The more
More
resilient the
secure.
network is,
Yes.
the more other people's interests will be reflected in changes that happen in the Bitcoin network going down the road. I want this to be very, very nonpartisan and very inclusive of all kinds of people, even people that I disagree with this distinctly. I want them to benefit from this as well as in as much as they use it in positive ways, right? But so I'm glad to hear that they're doing some of these things because I just don't think we see right now how many people are going to be benefited by this, and 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 disproportionately people that have been disenfranchised and locked out of the current monetary system, money system across the world, they're going to have access to it like they've never had before. And it's going to be a huge benefit
And
to the poorest
when you
amongst
think
us.
when you think about it, probably I would bet somewhere between 80 and 90% of the population of the world doesn't even have a bank account, let alone a credit card or
Yeah.
anything like that. But they can very easily have Bitcoin and use that in their day-to-day lives. You know, I mean, pretty much, I'd say probably more than 90% of the adults, at least in the world, and have a cell phone. And with that cell phone, you can completely
Yeah.
do commerce with Bitcoin worldwide. So, 80 to 90% don't have bank accounts or credit cards, but they've got cell phones and they can become almost instant users. Within a very, I don't know, 5, 10 minutes, they can become part of the
Yeah.
Bitcoin economy. And so, I think it's a good solution, really, like you said, for poor people worldwide to be able to participate in that,
Yeah.
you know?
It really is.
So I don't know.
And to wrap up this conversation today, I'd like to tie it
Yeah,
back
we're
in.
kind of running way over
What
here, aren't we?
Not bad, but for the average new Bitcoin user, they don't really, I don't think they're going to benefit or be very interested from talking about executive orders, new laws for Bitcoin and
No,
stuff
no.
like that. It's not going to, but it is very important still. And I think the most important thing you could take away from this as a new Bitcoiner is the sooner you act and get started and start buying Bitcoin. And like I was saying, going through that system of buying the first Bitcoin, setting up a Bitcoin only wallet, testing that wallet, doing a test recovery to make sure you got everything right, and then getting a metal wallet to record your phrase on, and probably the safest way possible to do it. And those are simple steps. The sooner you get that, and then I would say from there, buy your first $500, even if you're on the fence. If you live in the United States, if you live in Canada, Great Britain, Australia, any other place that speaks English where you would be listening to this, and you have the ability to buy Bitcoin, buy $500 worth of Bitcoin, right?
Buy
Or 500
$20.
of your
Buy
look.
$20, whatever.
Buy Tony to start,
I mean,
but have a
whatever
goal to
you
get up
can.
to 500.
Right.
Even if you think Bitcoin's not for you, do it so that you can start to get skin in the game, and then you get a real chance to see, like we were talking about earlier, Dad, like you start to notice and pay attention and learn more. But if you buy that $500 or 500 pounds, 500 euros, whatever your monetary system is, and you get that first 500 in there and just sit on it will start, you will start to notice Bitcoin and what it's doing a whole lot more. You'll start to see that investment grow more than anything else, and you'll want to learn more. And so you don't need to worry about executive orders or not, but these executive orders are signaling that a time is coming where the price of Bitcoin is going to start to explode again. And I just want to see you get involved in it before that price explosion happens. I want to see the average, ordinary, everyday people, especially poor people, get involved in Bitcoin before this next explosion happens. If I can help 1 million people to do that, I'm going to be very, very happy, because this explosion is coming. The supply of Bitcoin is shrinking. The new supply of Bitcoin is shrinking every 4 years. 95% of it's already been made. I mean, we are running out of new Bitcoin, and the amount being released is getting smaller and smaller, and the people wanting to buy it,
And
that,
every strategic reserve that takes
yeah,
it up and holds it, every institution,
we we're
every
heading for some
retirement
big buyers.
fund, yeah, then it makes it more and more scarce, and that's just going to drive the price up.
Yep.
So
Yep.
even with a small investment, you can get in on the ground floor
Yeah. Yep.
sooner
I
rather,
w
rather than later.
I say this too a lot. I would rather see 1 billion people buy $500 before, either way, it's going to benefit me the
Right.
same, probably in terms of the value that I have in
Sure.
it. But I'd rather see 1 billion people buy $500 and be able to benefit from it before I see 500 billionaires buy $1 billion with it. And when I say billionaires, I don't mean just people, but I mean people that have billions of dollars, like governments, endowment funds, sovereign wealth funds, things like that. I would rather see the average, ordinary people get their $500 worth before those people get their billions worth, because they are coming. They're going to see the value. At some point in time, a Bitcoin race is going to be kicked off amongst, the most wealthiest governments and organizations on the earth. And if you've already gotten some skin in the game by then, you're going to be very happy.
You'll be way
If you
ahead.
don't, it doesn't mean you won't still be able to benefit from it, because these kinds of dynamics are going to grow the price and value of Bitcoin for decades.
Right.
But I just want to see you get in earlier, sooner, now rather than later, right? So anyways, first step Bitcoin. Let's get you in and get you some Bitcoin, and you'll start learning about it, and you'll probably want to buy some more, and you can use it as a tool to build wealth and financial freedom and improve your life.
Yeah.
So go out and take more trips to Brazil and other cool places, eat more new and interesting
Yummy.
pizza and other foods. Yeah, try more restaurants around your local town. Get out to that first class pizza that I've never been to. Get out to that Japanese hand pulled noodle place. That sounds so awesome too.
Drive a nicer car.
Maison, get some chicken, drive a nicer car.
Fly
Yeah.
first class when you travel.
Fly first class. Yeah. Yes. Very nice. Cool. All right, Dad. Well, thank you.
Okay. Okay, Aaron. Thanks.
Yep. Bye.